Two huge earthquakes strike Turkey and Syria. US weighing retaliation while moves to recover Chinese balloon. UK's top-selling vape is stripped from shelves. Most US adults support banning sales of all tobacco products. Gen Z is using TikTok as a search engine. The older woman who took Prince Harry's virginity comes forward. Seychelles ranks as Africa's least corrupt country. Beyoncé breaks Grammy records for most decorated artist.
Hello, I'm Jolie. Thank you so much for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Tuesday, February 7th, and here are your top stories. A strong earthquake of magnitude 7.8 struck southern Turkey early Monday and was felt in Cyprus, Lebanon, and Syria, collapsing buildings and killing more than 2,800 people. The German Research Center for Geosciences said the quake struck at a depth of 10 kilometers near the southern Turkish city of Kahramanmaraş. This worst tremor to strike Turkey this century, which hit before sunrise during harsh weather. The quake was followed in the early afternoon by another large aftershock of magnitude 7.7.
In Turkey, Health Minister Fahrettin Koca said the death toll stood at 1,651 and 11,119 people were recorded as injured. At least 968 people were killed in Syria. Syrian state media said a large number of buildings collapsed in the province of Aleppo, while a source in the Hamas civil service said several buildings collapsed there. People in Damascus, the Syrian capital, as well as in Lebanese capital Beirut and Libyan capital Tripoli, ran into the streets and took to their cars to get away from their buildings in case of collapses.
The U.S. sent divers to salvage equipment from the Chinese balloon shutdown of South Carolina as pressure mounted on President Joe Biden to hit back at Beijing with new export controls on sensitive technology. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a New York Democrat, said senators will get a full classified briefing on February 15th. While China says the device was a climate research airship that strayed off course, the U.S. argues it was a part of a broader spying program by Beijing. With that in mind, the Biden administration was calibrating how severely and swiftly to retaliate.
So those are all the issues that are facing the country. Those are long-term, multi-generational issues.
People familiar with the matter said Biden will almost certainly make reference to the episode in his State of the Union speech on Tuesday. One option would be to send Blinken to China with a much tougher message than the one he had planned to bring this week before he postponed the trip. The administration believes Blinken should reschedule his trip soon. They argued for a much tougher approach both on the balloon and evidence that U.S. officials say has shown Chinese companies have been quietly supporting Russia's war efforts in Ukraine.
The company behind Britain's best-selling vape last Sunday admitted inadvertently breaking the law after a Mail investigation found its products far exceed maximum nicotine levels. Chinese vaping giant Elf wholeheartedly apologized after independent lab tests by the Mail found its 600 line of e-cigarettes were at least 50% over the legal limit for nicotine e-liquid. Experts described the findings as deeply disturbing and warned off a risk to young people illegally using the vapes, which were sold by major supermarkets.
The media said after the Mail shared the results of the investigation, Tesco removed some Elf Bar 600s from its stores, and Morrison also launched a probe into the product. Tests commissioned by the Mail on 3 flavors of the China-made Elf Bar 600s bought at Sainsbury's, Tesco, and Morrison's branch in London, Derby, and Sheffield found they contained between 3 ml and 3.2 ml of nicotine levels. The amount of nicotine liquid in a vape is legally limited in the UK to 2 ml, of which the maximum nicotine strength should be 2%.
According to a new study led by researchers from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than half of U.S. adults support ending the sale of all tobacco products, and nearly 2/3 said they support banning menthol cigarette sales, while more than a third of current smokers supported banning menthol cigarette sales, and more than a quarter current smokers supported banning all tobacco sales. The study authors say public support can continue to be an influential factor in the acceleration of policy adoption.
Research has shown that tobacco products, especially those with menthol, are disproportionately marketed to youth, racial and ethnic minorities, lower-income people, and those who identify as LGBTQ+, all of whom are more likely to use these products and develop tobacco-related health problems. CNN reported as of February 2022, at least 145 U.S. communities prohibit the sale of menthol cigarettes and other flavored products. Beverly Hills and Manhattan Beach, California, were the first cities to prohibit all tobacco sales.
I always needed time on my own. I never thought I'd be here.
I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
Where to find cute cafes in town? What is the best Italian restaurant in London? What exhibitions are on in Paris? How to write a cover letter? How to have a clean breakup? While these might be questions boomers and millennials would ask Google and find on WikiHow or TripAdvisor, Gen Z has been found to seek advice from the same app that bursts with dance trends and pop music. For Gen Z, TikTok is the place to turn to when you're looking for answers.
Now Google announced some surprising news. Nearly 40% of people between 18 and 24 prefer to use TikTok and Instagram.
In 2021, web security and performance company Cloudflare reported that the video app has overtaken Google by the number of searches on its platform. With over 3 million downloads worldwide and a growing audience, the use of TikTok as a search engine has rapidly been rising, to the point that many are asking whether it might eventually dethrone Google and end its decades-long supremacy. Gen Z finds information on TikTok to be more personalized and thus more real and valuable.
Daily Mail reported 40-year-old digger driver Sasha Walpole told the Mail, "I'm the older woman who took Prince Harry's virginity." After the rendezvous was laid bare in Memoir Spare, Sasha reveals she's the mystery horse lover who had a passionate 5-minute love session with the Duke in a pub field. Sasha, now a mother of 2, reveals it was Prince Harry who made the first move. Harry planted a kiss after asking her to go outside for a Marlboro cigarette.
I was a virgin at the time. It wasn't until probably the next morning when I actually thought about it. I was a bit, oh no, not.
The Daily Mail reported it was a passionate, tipsy, and very probable ill-advised encounter between two friends who snuck out of a pub for a crafty Marlboro Light and ended up clambering over a fence to make love in a field, shielded from sights by a dense summer hedgerow. This is how Prince Harry lost his virginity in July 2001, an escapade the world would have remained ignorant about had he not revealed some of the intimate details in his explosive memoir, Spare.
Seychelles has maintained its top ranking for the sub-Saharan African region in the Transparency International Corruption Perceptions Index (CPI) released last Tuesday. The island nation retained the position for the 5th consecutive year and 23rd ranking globally attained in 2022 with 70 points once again. The island state again outperformed major Western democracies like the United States, which did better than last year and climbed to 24th position with a score of 69 points.
By far, according to the organization Transparency International, it ranks Seychelles as the least corrupt African nation.
The commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission of Seychelles, May da Silva, said in a press statement, "We are delighted that this positive action and our tireless efforts to root out corruption by our committed staff and the supportive public has been recognized." The CPI reports rates the perception of corruption in the public sector using a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is highly corrupt and 100 is clean. Seychelles stayed in 23rd place globally, like in 2021, with a score of 70 points.
Beyoncé stands alone on her Grammy throne. With her 4th win on Sunday night, she has become the most decorated artist in the show's history, surpassing the 26-year-old record once held by the late Hungarian-British conductor George Solti. Beyoncé has now collected 32 awards after she won for Best R&B Song for Cuff It, Dance Electronic Music Recording for Break My Soul, Traditional R&B Performance for Plastic Off the Sofa, and Dance Electronic Music for her 7th studio album Renaissance, which is also nominated for Album of the Year.
As we are witnessing history tonight, breaking the record for the most Grammy wins of all time. Be upstanding and show your respect. It's Renaissance, Beyoncé.
As her husband Jay-Z stood and applauded her, the superstar said, "I'm trying not to be too emotional." The singer thanked her late uncle, her parents, Jay-Z, and her children for supporting her. She said, "I'm just trying to receive this night. I want to thank God for protecting me. Thank you, God." On the all-time Grammy leaderboard, Beyoncé now tops Alison Krauss, Chick Corea, and composer Pierre Boulez, and more. This week, Beyoncé announced her Renaissance Stadium tour will hit Inglewood's SoFi Stadium on September 2nd to 3rd.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Jolie, your host. I'll see you next time.